Welcome to Breaking the Chains. I'm your host, Bakita Muhammad. Today we have our girl Elaine with us. She is a repat like me. She has been going back and forth. So, Elaine, why don't you introduce yourself to the people? Let them know who you are, where you come from, and let's talk about where we going.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me on. I'm Sister Elaine. A lot of you all know me, and I'm just happy to be here. So, I'm originally from Mobile, Alabama, born and raised there. And I knew early on that I don't fit in here. I knew early on as a child that I wanted to go to Africa. I think it kind of hit me around my teenage years. But I've lived in several states. I've lived in Washington State. I've lived in Georgia. I've lived in Texas as well. So right now I live in Tennessee, and I actually met you back in 2015 when I lived in Georgia. And at that time, that was my first going to Africa experience when I went to Senegal and the Gambia. And we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I'm really a diehard repat. I believe in it. I know that I do not belong here. It's been very clear for years. We can talk about some of those reasons. Ever since I was old enough to pretty much have an awareness of myself and my surroundings, it was clear that, I just don't even really know how to say it. Like, I just don't belong here. Like, I'm not in the right place. There is a sense of urgency. There's always been urgency, and I will say that the bondage is it's real, because you and I are testaments to the bondage. We
Yep.
want to leave, we cannot. We have to work our way out. We came here by force, and we have to work our way out. We cannot leave if we don't work our way out. And that is how you know that you are in bondage, because you cannot just leave. Why can't we just go? We
Right.
don't want to be here. We want to leave. Why can't we just go?
Yeah. You said a mouthful. So, one of the reasons why, tonight I'm feeling very much so like, I gotta get out of this place. As I shared with you right before we got on, a few minutes before we started talking, I found out that one of my classmates was murdered. Um, we went to middle school together. We reconnected during in Facebook, and his name is Benjamin, and or Joseph Benjamin, and he was murdered here in Atlanta. He was a stunt man for the Spider-Man movies, and he was a stunt man for in the Black Panther. Um, he could sing. He was all around a decent dude. He had his struggles as we all do, but now today at 40 years old, he's dead at from he was a security guard working, and now he's dead. Like, that really, it really sunk in. And it's probably been a day or so since this happened, but I just found out about it, and it really kind of it reinforced for me why I feel like I cannot keep my family here. Like, I can't let my husband can't come here and go out like that. Like, and you have sons, you have I have all daughters, but you got a bunch of sons and a husband. So I know for you it's even more like we can't do this. So with that being said, I had to get that off my chest. This I'll probably dedicate this video to him because this has thrown me for a loop. But I can get through this. How did you go about choosing which country you would repatriate to? What was your thought process when you were doing that? And I'm having
I have a history.
a nightcap. Yeah. So forgive
That
me.
is great. You should have a nightcap. I'm having a nightcap as well. I'm drinking elderberry wine. It is therapeutic. And it's just going to help us through this conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I just want to say, about Brother Benjamin, I think it's horrible. I think that it is a reminder just how dangerous, whether you are in fear or not, matters little, but you are in danger. Understand that. And I want everyone to know that.
Yeah.
I think for me, with my background, I have a heavy Islamic background and don't really consider myself a Muslim any longer. However, at that time, I was just kind of coming out of being a really devout Muslim. And so I was attracted to the Senegal, Gambia area. I liked it. The President Yahya, was very forceful in his rhetoric against the Babylonian way of life. That was very attractive to me. And so there was urgency. I was pregnant at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, I had just had a DNA test, an African ancestry DNA test, where I had done my female, my mitochondrial X chromosome, and I had my father do his X and Y. And it traced back my maternal to the Balanta Brahma people of Guinea-Bissau, which the neighboring country is actually Senegal and the Gambia. The Gambia is English speaking. And so I thought oh, wow. I was just like, it's all lining up together. This would be great. My father's DNA traced back to the Tikar people of Cameroon and the Edo Bini people of Nigeria. So I think from what I'm told, that is Old Benin Kingdom. And so I have a very strong African feeling, a very strong African soul even. If I had to say, I would say that I am a spirit straight from the continent. I have to be. I mean, I know I've got a lot of different ancestors in me, but the one that is profound is apparently the one that is comfortable with the motherland. And so I set out to do it. In 2015, I went back. I was pregnant. I did not let that stop me. I got prenatal care there. It was very primitive prenatal care, but it was very effective. It was effective. I felt good about the care that I received. I could relate to the person who was going to birth my child, and I felt very safe. And so that was real. And we can talk more about how I moved there a short time later after the initial couple of visits.
Right. So for full disclosure, because I know people probably hear you saying all of these medical terminology, and your understanding seems very strong. You are a nurse, and so the care that you was receiving, you could very well understand what you were seeing, so and what you were experiencing.
Yes.
So just for full disclosure, so people get that you have a medical background, so it would be probably easier for you to by seeing and going through it, really understand what the care was that you were receiving. Because here, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that most people, we go to the doctor and we don't even know what them people doing. We don't know what's going on, and we still trust them. Go and we, Anyway, so you say you had a baby while you were in the Gambia. A lot of people,
Yes, I did.
we can relate because
I did.
I had a baby in Ghana. You had your baby at home. Can you please talk about your experience and your birthing experience? Some way, you don't have to go into detail, but just the fact that you had a baby. Not only did you have a baby, but you had a baby at home.
Yes, I wanted to have a bureaucracy-free birth. I wanted to rely on myself, the ancestors, and Almighty God. That's what I wanted. And so it was me and my husband and the midwife. And so I did go to a clinic. And I mean, I got pretty good care and everything, but I did that just in case we decided to go to the hospital.
Right.
But at that time, my husband, when he came to the Gambia, he got ill. And at the time when I was getting ready to go into labor, I knew that my husband was not in a pristine enough, he wasn't in a strong enough condition to take him to the hospital. So
Right.
I decided to just go ahead and have the baby at home. That was baby number 4. And so I was not in fear. I've always had vaginal births, so I wasn't really worried. I was prepared for to just do it. And so it was very painful. It felt, it hurt, but I was all in. There's a point of no return where you just can't, you just have to just do it.
Right.
My baby came out very easily once the contractions were over, which felt like death, right? The baby came, girl, yes. And let me tell you how she did it. Okay, she was a midwife. She was a nurse midwife. She put my baby in a little fruit scale. It was the cutest thing. When the baby was born, they measure in kilos. The baby was about 4.7 kilos, which was a little over 10 pounds. My husband, girl, yes. My husband took the placenta and got charcoal from my neighbors and burned and did all of that. So I was not commercialized.
Yeah.
I was not, what is the word? I was not exploited for
Yeah.
my stem cells.
Yeah.
And so I did not want my stem cells to be taken.
Yeah.
They take your stem cells. They invade only things that God should know about you.
Right.
And I know I talked about the DNA test. So I want to consent to that. I don't want to tell you not to do it, but I see you doing it anyway, which is what occurred at the hospital. So I had the baby, everything was fine. Put the baby to breast. We were under the mosquito net. The baby was safe. I was safe. I mean, there was just no problems. There was none.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, there are a lot of fears with a lot of the women when it comes to giving childbirth in developing countries and all that stuff. And my take on it is women have babies in Africa every day, every couple of minutes, probably. The risk there is no different than the risk it is here. I don't think people know how many black women die in America due to childbirth when they supposedly should be getting a better care. We dying at the same rate as we do as we would in an underdeveloped country with poor care. So, I'm like, having a baby is having a baby. It's that having a baby is probably the closest you get to being to death in life than actually dying. So it is what it is.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you had a baby and you had a natural birth. I'm sure there was you needed some help. Um, so I know your husband was there, but what did you do for your aftercare?
And the aftercare was an issue. This is one reason why I decided to go to Ghana this time around. I almost died a week later. I bled out. I did not have the sister care that I should have. I was pressured to do naming ceremonies and to put the baby on my back and do a tribal dance.
Oh,
I wanted to prove that I was all African, and so I was up for it.
hmm,
I personally believe that I died that night because of that sort of thing. I want to tell you that the houses are built of stone. They are
yeah,
built on a marble cement materials.
yeah,
So your wound, it
granted,
is not like wood.
yeah,
Okay, understand that. And I did not. I felt so good. Now, mind you, I didn't know that I was this banged up. I was
yeah,
38. I had had the baby. Well, no, I think, okay, I was 37. I had the baby.
mhm.
But to make a long story short, I bled out tremendously. I passed out. My husband was afraid. I told my husband before I passed out, I was like, don't go get no car or nothing, because I can bleed to death hitting potholes trying to get to the hospital in pitch black dark.
Mhm.
So I was like, if I'm gonna die right here in this bed. And so my husband rotated me from side to side to nurse the baby, but we didn't know if I was gonna pull through or not.
Wow,
That's how it was.
wow,
And so I told him, never ever again would I get up and do work ever after having a baby. And
right,
so I would not do work anymore. And so that happened. I learned from that.
yeah,
Even though I felt good, my body is not the same as someone else's.
right.
And so we can talk a little bit about some of the differences. Now, honestly, when I was 25, honey, that probably would not have happened. But I
Right.
think the older you are, the more delicate you are after birth.
Absolutely.
And the posturing that I was doing,
And
the
you it was
posturing,
like you
sweeping with
did,
that broom.
yeah. And that's like your fourth kid.
That was a pelvic. That was almost like doing Kegels. You
Yeah,
don't do Kegels. I mean, not that's not something that you would do after childbirth. You
not
want
right
your womb
away.
to contract and to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that happened, sis. But by the grace of God, I did not perish. But I will tell you, when I came back, I wasn't the same person. I'm still weaker now. I'm not strong like I was before. I came back with high
So,
blood pressure and all sorts of stuff.
so even with this such a traumatic experience, you still want to move to Africa?
I it is anything is better than bondage. Understand that.
Amen. Amen.
Because I'm not looking for a perfect transition. I know, and even then I had some issues. Like I had stuff going on, everything is a transition. But
Right.
I was not under the threat of death. I was not in fear for my life. I was not worried about being robbed.
Right.
I was not worried about being
Somebody
raped.
shooting
I
you.
was not worried. Yeah, I wasn't worried about being shot and killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a total. And I'm not saying that I don't, and you know what? I can't say that I regret. I I think I did the right thing. Even animals, what we consider non-intelligent animals, they go and hide when they have their babies.
Yeah.
A
Because they're
lioness
weaker.
would never go have her baby amongst hyenas. It wouldn't happen.
Because her and her baby would be at risk.
Her and her baby would see the afterlife. Understand it. And so many of our sisters are seeing the afterlife. And so what I will say was the birth was fine. The problem was aftercare. And you hit on that. That we need our sisters to care for us. And so at that time, it wasn't a whole lot of sisters there that understood our bodies. I mean, I
Yeah.
looked strong. I looked strong. And so I think that my house helped. She kind of pushed me to do some things that I shouldn't have been doing. She could probably do them, but
Yeah.
I couldn't do them.
Yeah.
And so I will stand my ground next on that. But I want to give a shout out to Sister Maymuna Scott. I don't know if you know Maymuna. I met her in Gambia actually. The sister came to see me and brighten my day a few times. Turns out she's going to be in Ghana. And so I would be happy to be reunited with her. She came to visit me, and it was I felt like Lenny Williams. You know how I saw her, and and she smiled at me, and it just made my day because I was lonely. I didn't have sisters. It
Yeah.
was real. I did
Yeah.
not have the sisterhood that I should have had. And you need that when you're far away. You need
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
needed it.
Yeah.
Maybe some people don't, but I needed it. And
Yeah.
so this time around, I'm going to try Ghana because there's some beautiful souls and sisters there that I want to be with. Sister Paquita is one of them.
Thank
And
you.
there are others too.
Thank you. So, speaking of Ghana, you some years ago you were hell bent on no, I'm not going to Ghana. Y'all can take y'all ass to Ghana if you want to. No, no. What changed your mind about Ghana?
I will tell you, I wanted to be in a place where some groundwork had already been done for those coming from the diaspora. That was very important. Also, I have small children. They need to be around other children whose habits are similar,
Yeah.
and I would say that have some of the same hygiene behaviors. This
Uh-huh.
does not mean that people are not clean. Understand what I'm not saying.
Yeah.
It just means that when we say get out of that dog days water,
Yeah.
have you ever heard that saying?
Yeah.
Saw kids playing in puddles of water where goats and
Yeah.
sheep had been in the water.
Yeah.
That is something that I can't support that. So I wanted to be in a place that had a large African American or diasporian presence.
Hmm.
I didn't want to go to Ghana because I know that Ghana is very Western in some of their thinking. I don't know. I don't want to say thinking because I mean, of course, there's village areas, right?
Right.
But I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know
The
what you mean.
bureaucracy seems to be
It's British.
heavily influenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more than British too. It almost seems like a distant colony of the
Absolutely.
US
Absolutely.
with that embassy and the military base being there. But I started thinking, that could be a good thing. It can be bad, it can be good. Because, for example, my husband would have access to some of the VA services there
Yeah.
that are there in Ghana. It doesn't have to always be bad. So I had to change my way of thinking.
Right.
And I'm glad that I did because I met some really good people. And
Right.
so I'm happy that I changed
Yeah.
my analysis
Hmm.
about repatriation. You
Hmm.
need to go somewhere where you're going to be comfortable, where people can help you with the transition, where you can deal with vetted people for contracted work.
Hmm.
Um, because just because someone is speaking English, all English words have multiple meanings. When I say I'm paying you to fix something, the word fix has 5 different meanings at best, at the least, I'll
Yeah.
say.
At the least.
And when
Yeah.
I say something else, it just, the English, it's very different. Oh, I'll say that, sis.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we need to be dealing with vetted people, people that have laid some groundwork, because you can be spending a lot of money, honey,
I know.
trying to go it along and all of that.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean?
know. And I know you had we won't go into your experience with the repatriation community in Senegal and the Gambia, but what I will ask you is, as someone
Ooh.
who lived in the Gambia, um how do you feel about the latest controversy that has been coming out of the Gambia?
I think that, well, let me just tell you a little bit about my background. A lot of people don't know this about me.
Mhm.
I grew up a little bit unorthodox. I would say I was orphaned at a very early age as a 4-year-old child. And so I was taken in by very loving family members. My grandmother, my aunts, I had a very special, dedicated uncle. And let me tell you what I learned as an orphan. When you come to someone's home, you have to be appreciative for the hospitality that you are given. You cannot say the things, the first things, or even the second things that come to your mind. You can be put out. You can lose a good home. And so I will say that I have had some experiences that were that felt, um, they didn't feel very good. You understand it.
Right,
But
right.
I had to learn how to navigate. I had a tribal brother, and he wouldn't mind me calling him my tribal brother. I still have him. I still have him. We became very close. Even he and I had some dealings that I didn't like,
Right.
because the way people do business, it is different. Um, I sent lots of money to him to have my house prepared when I got there. Some things that I felt were raggedy things that he purchased. But what he wanted to help me to understand was, to him, it was new. To help you to understand, this is how I saw it. He said, "Sister, it is new." He said, "See, the box is there." That's what he said. I said, "Yes, brother, the box is there." And I left it at that, because to him, it was new.
Right.
To him, the box was there. He didn't run off with the money. Yeah, he bought some substandard things.
Yeah.
In fact, he bought a chair that was so flimsy, he fell and hit the floor in the chair. I said, "Oh, that could have been me hitting the floor in the chair, having an immediate birth, and
Yeah.
probably not a good one."
Right.
Okay, so he understood That was a teachable moment. So I was able to share with him that you don't go and get 250-pound pregnant women plastic chairs because it slides. It does the giraffe legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's things that we need to work on together, but we have to
Together.
be careful because the enemy
Enemy.
wants to have hatred amongst us with
Yes.
our continental brothers and sisters. They want our continental brothers and sisters to want to destroy whatever we try to build.
Yep.
Like with just say for example a Liberia type civil war. See, they want that. So
Yeah.
you have to watch what you say, and you have to try to deal with people in the best of manners. Sister, I have purchased baby furniture that was not treated. The bamboo was not treated.
Yeah.
Mites were in it. There
Yep.
was no refund.
Yeah.
I was upset. But
Yeah.
you know what that taught me? We will not buy there again.
Right.
There were other things I probably could have purchased. Some of the furniture was good, some of it wasn't good. I had some, I don't even want to say her name. I don't want to be affiliated with that sort of thing or a
Right.
person that would offend people to that degree. But
Exactly.
I want to
Exactly.
say this too, really quickly. We can't judge the diasporian community because of two or three very vocal people on YouTube.
Yes.
Please don't do that.
Yes.
Don't do that
Yes.
because we are well meaning when we come.
Yeah.
Many of us have lost thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
We take some serious
We take some
losses
blows. We
trying
take
to
some
come.
blows.
Yeah. And so it can get frustrating. Help us
Yep.
so that we can find people with integrity, underwrite underwrite the business, reassure us,
Yeah.
guide us to proper business persons,
Right.
please.
Right.
Those sorts of things. I would say that we need to have I don't want a kill switch, but we need to have a way. We do need to have a way to speak with our people
Yeah.
at this
I agree.
crucial time.
I agree.
Um, we do, and you have to watch what you say. And
I
even
agree.
for this person, she's in danger. She does not understand that if she was, and see, would you do that to the enemy, to the person that has taken everything from you, the
Yeah.
person that destroyed you? Went on YouTube to discuss that?
Yeah.
Have you went on YouTube to rant about the crime against humanity that stripped us of everything that we had? Have we
Exactly.
discussed that? Are we angry about that?
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I I don't want to. I just kind of really wanted to get your thoughts on that because I know you lived in Gambia for a while, and although you're transitioning, I figured you could have some kind of a point of view on that. I do think we have to be careful. We have to be tactful and diplomatic about the way we handle this situation as we move on if we want to make sure that our repatriation journeys are as seamless as possible. We have to do our work, and to me it just kind of feels like sometimes it seems like we want a lot up front that we haven't really made it clear that we're willing to put in the work for. It's like, wow, I feel like there is some resolve that needs to be made, you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to forgive each other. We gotta forgive because if we're gonna be returning with a chip on our shoulder about what happened 400 years ago, I mean, what's the point in returning? You know, we're gonna have to really check ourselves in the way we move. Now, granted, it's a lot of a lot of things that's being said that is they ain't lying, but it's the way you go about saying things, and we have to understand. This is why I always say you need to go somewhere and observe. Shut your mouth and observe things first, because you know, we as a people, we already sensitive. But if you understand offense, they our brothers and sisters in West Africa at least, they tend to be just as sensitive or as we are. And because although we like in the Gambia and Ghana and Nigeria, we all speak in English. They speak a different kind of English than we do. So a lot of stuff still get lost in translation, and you know, it gets lost in the body language and the facial expressions and all of this stuff or whatever, where when I may hear what the people are saying, I understand I understand they don't mean no harm type of situation, but somebody else from that's not from our culture is looking at it like, are you serious? So, you know, I just think that we have to be cautious of the fact that, you know, in our community, we have a whole sect of people who feel like talking to people all hard and talking to people any kind of way is the, you know, keeping it real or being straight with folks. And that's really not the way that you go about getting things done. I mean, how do you expect that you're going to offend people and then turn around and want them to cooperate with you when you need to get things done? It is that's working yourself. That's putting the cart before the horse. I mean,
Well, this is what my thing is. When you go somewhere and you are a guest, okay, now let me just tell you, there's different ways that you can handle situations. Now, what I learned to do was I would have my house staff and my tribal brother to just handle business for me. Because one thing I knew about him was he knew that I was good. So he already knew that if I said something that maybe would sound elitist to someone else, he already knew that that's not what I meant. So he was sure that he understood me. So we had a relationship where we were giving each other the benefit of the doubt. Exactly. He says, "Sister, I feel you. I feel you, sister. I understand."